Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Taz here. The lab coat's on back order, and the time has come for the Kanto Classic. So this past Friday, I did participate in some matches, and I recorded some for you. And if you don't know the team that I brought, I did put a team builder up yesterday, so there's a link in the description. Click that link, you can go check out the team I put together, and the strategies, and the movesets, and not the held items, because there are no held items in this format. 6 versus 6, single battle, no items, just the first 149 Pokemon in the Pokédex. So, Gen 1 minus Mewtwo and Mew. With that all being said, let's get right into these battles right now and see how well we did, because this is pre-recorded, but let's see how well we did in the Kanto Classic. Let's begin. Alright, here we go. Our first battle of the Kanto Classic against my opponent from Shiga, Japan. And they've got a Gengar, Zapdos, Dragonite, Ditto, only level 49, Gyarados, and Moltres. So what are some possible leads that they might send in? Well, first off, we see some good physical potential in the Dragonite and the Gyarados. But I don't think they're going to lead with those. They could actually lead with them, go for some Dragon Dances. That could be a problem. I think I'm not going to bring Arbok right away. I will bring him in reserve so I can drop the attack stat using the Intimidate when I bring him in. But I think a good possible lead might be Sheldon. If that Zapdos comes in, that could be a problem. I can swap out to Sprout to take an electric type hit. So I think Sheldon is the best bet for starters. And since this is a 6 versus 6, I'm going to bring everybody else. I see you don't have as much time to make your decisions in this. You only get, like, I think, was it 30 seconds or so? So you got to make your first choice really quick. Alright, let's see what my opponent leads off with for the start. This is where my pride as a Gen 1 Kanto raised Pokemon trainer is on the line. Alright, Sheldon, lead the way. Anything but Zapdos, anything but Zapdos. They lead with Moltres. Now, they are going to swap out. I do not believe Moltres... Actually, it does get Solar Beam, I'm pretty sure, but with no held items, there is nothing it can do to make that Solar Beam fire off on the first turn. Now, they might swap out to Zapdos, or they want to go for something resistant to a possible Scald attack. I think maybe I might want to swap out. Let me see what I can do for options for swapping. Now, if they actually swap out something resistant, that could be the... what would be Dragonite. The Gyarados could be a drop or a switch as well. So either way, I think Arbok is the best bet to swap into. Pretty sure Moltres is faster than my Blastoise, so they're going to swap first, meaning Arbok will come in later and get the Intimidate drop on whatever they send in. Yeah, they're going to withdraw their Moltres. And in comes a Zapdos, actually. Alright, so we're going to get the Intimidate drop on this, which isn't the best bet. And the problem is, this thing could just stay in and go for some pretty powerful hits. We do have Substitute on Arbok, but I don't think the Substitute is going to really do too much. I can just go for a Poison Jab right now to get off as much damage as we can, and see what they're going to go for. I can't Glare, of course, because electric types are immune to being paralyzed in this generation. So I'm just going to go Poison Jab, try to get some good damage off. We do have some special defense investment, and we outspeed Zapdos? Could they be going Whirlwind? Nope. Arbok is just faster than this Zapdos. That is very interesting. Alright. Now, I want to preserve the Intimidate, so I'm going to bring Arbok back. I can send Sprout to resist that Thunderbolt, which I think might be the best bet. Now, the Zapdos could have a Flying type move, but in my experience, they don't get the best Flying type moves to make use of their special attack stat. And I think Sprout can take some physical flying moves from either Drill Peck, Aerial Ace, whatever this thing wants to go for. So in comes Sprout. You can go ahead and Thunderbolt again if you want. We do resist it, and we have some pretty good special defense on this Pokemon. Not very effective, no paralysis. Now, they didn't have a Grass type from what I recall. We had Gengar, Ditto, Moltres, Zapdos, Dragonite, and Gyarados. So yes, we can freely go for Elite Seed on anything. But given that they might swap out right now, I'm going to go Light Screen for starters. Get up our special defense. And Heat Wave. Well, it's not Stab. This will hurt, though. We are weak to that. But we do manage to get the Light Screen up, fortunately. Alright, so with Electric and Fire type moves, who would be our best bet to go for? Because we don't want to lose Sprout right now if we can help it. I think now that we have Light Screen up, our own Zapdos actually might be the way to go. So we're going to bring one legendary Electric Bird versus another. Of course, on ours, we do have Substitute, and I imagine the opponent is going to want to swap out if they don't swap immediately right now. So we're applying the pressure ourselves as well. Thunderbolt, of course, we can't be paralyzed, which is nice. Now, imagining they're going to swap, I am going to go for Substitute immediately. And even if they stay in, then I don't think a Thunderbolt would break the sub. It'd actually be pretty close. Oh, they do stay in, okay. Alright, and they go for the Roost attack. Well, we can definitely do that as well. I'm not going to do that just yet. I want to try and get off some damage here. So I'm going to go with our our Discharge attack. Not as powerful as Thunderbolt, but it does have a good chance to paralyze. But of course, as I said just a moment ago, Zapdos, an electric type, is immune to paralysis. However, one more of those actually will get the knockout, it looks like. Clean my screen a little bit there. Sorry about that. And we don't lose the Substitute. Excellent. Freely go for another Discharge. They don't have any ground types on this team, so I don't need to worry about the Discharge being a complete waste. And do we get the knockout? It's actually going to be pretty close. Did it go? It did. We just managed to pull that through. So the first knockout is on my side, or their side, but the first victory is on my side. Now we can Roost up whatever they're going to go for here. They're going to attack the Substitute, and we can freely get our HP back. Zapdos is our best bet to deal with that Gyarados when it comes in, so I don't want to lose him immediately. Now we could paralyze this if we get some luck with the Discharge. But I think, first and foremost, I am going to Roost up. Now if they go for Dragon Dance, this could turn out to be a problem, but of course I can swap in Arbok and get the Intimidate drop. So, almost at full health. Actually, I think we are at full health. Dragon Claw is going to break the Substitute. Immediately, now we might lose Arbok in the process, but I think our best bet at this point, I'm going to bring Arbok in and drop the attack stat of this pretty powerful Dragonite. Arbok, use that intimidating pattern to the best of your ability. So in we come with our Poisonous Snake Pokemon. So now your attack is cut down by one stage. Dragon Claw might get the KO at this point, unfortunately. Yep, down goes Arbok. So we're at 1 for 1 so far. Now, with the Intimidate having taken care of this, and now that Zapdos is gone, there's nothing I think Sheldon has to fear. But we are going to actually send in Machamp next. We're going to try to fire off that Ice Punch. Or, I think I want to go for a low sweep first of all. Try to slow this down, and if they actually swap out to anything but that Gengar, we can slow something down. Let's go for the low sweep, and they go for Aerial Ace, but thanks to the Intimidate, this isn't going to hurt that much. Alright, so slow this thing down. Now, I believe we would outspeed at this point. I don't know for sure. However, we will survive another Aerial Ace. I'm going to go for the Ice Punch immediately. When they swap out, because they are intimidated, they have lost some speed as well. 2 of their stats have dropped by 1 stage. Looks like they might be swapping out, based on how long this turn is taking to decide. Nope, they stay in. Take a nice powerful Ice Punch from Machamp. Down goes Dragonite. Alright, so we are 2 to 1 so far. Next, from my opponent's side, in comes their third Pokemon, which they're carefully deciding who to send in. And that's going to be the Moltres. Alright, so this could have flying attacks, of course, but I think now we're safe to go into our pretty defensive Pokemon, Sheldon the Blastoise. As I say, I don't think there's anything this thing can really do to hurt us that much. And if Sheldon actually does fall to this thing, then I still have Thunder Punch on Blaze as well. Alright, so what do you go for? I'm expecting a Fire-type move. No, Air Slash, actually. That is Stab, but we do have some pretty good defense. That was a critical hit, so fortunately, even another critical won't bring us down. Would they swap out? And if they do, what would they swap to? I think Scald is actually the best bet to go for. Even if they go into their flying-type Gyarados, we will be able to get some decent damage. It's going to be resisted, but we could get the burn. So we're just going to go Scald. They are going to withdraw once again. And in comes the Gengar. Alright, so your special defense isn't good, but our special attack is not super trained for. And we don't pick up the burn. This thing can learn Energy Ball, I know that much. So, since it can learn Psychic as well, I was thinking of going into Sprout. Sprout is at 22 HP, so he'd be a quick Pokemon to just take a hit and see what they're going to go for. And I don't think he'd be good against the rest of the team. They still got Gyarados, Gengar, Ditto, and what was the other one? Moltres. Yeah, I don't think Sprout is going to be that useful, so I'm going to send him in right now, essentially to take a hit and get a free switch into someone else. So we pull back Sheldon, Sprout comes in, and the Gengar is going to go ahead and fire off a Thunderbolt. We'll resist it. And we did hang in there. I didn't know if our light screen is still up or not. I'm going to say it's not, because it should be gone by now. I'm just going to throw a Leech Seed out there for whatever good it's going to do. They're just going to go for a Thunderbolt and knock us out. Now the question is, what happens next? We have Shadow Claw on Blitz. But there's no way we can slow this down, and did I say Blitz? That's my Raichu. I meant Blaze. I have Shadow Claw on Blaze, I've got Knock Off on Machamp. And the only way to slow this thing down is to paralyze it with Zapdos. So Zapdos is coming in next. I'm not sure if Blaze would outspeed at their natural base stats. So I'm going to try to go for the Discharge, get a Paralysis. Don't think we're going to get the knockout at this rate. But what could this do to us? Would they go for a status thing? I don't know what to expect in terms of that, so I'm just going to Discharge, see what we can do to it. So we outspeed with Zapdos, that's good. And we do drop that Gengar with a nice powerful Discharge attack. So all that's left is the Ditto, Gyarados, and Moltres. Everything but the Ditto we can easily handle. I shouldn't say easily, but I think we can handle pretty well. Alright, come on. 3 left. Who's it going to be? And of course, like I said, the Ditto's level 49. Yes, technically under level, but only by 1, so it's not really going to be that big of a difference. In comes the Ditto with Imposter. It does have Imposter. Alright, now, if need be, I do have Ice Punch on Machamp. I think the first order of business, I was thinking Substitute, because yeah, the other two other Pokemon on the team, we have Blaze and Sheldon, and they're both weak to Electric, so I'm not going to swap any of them in. And if I do have to swap into Machamp, I want to have a nice clean switch in. So first things first, I'm going to Substitute with Zapdos. Now, being 1 level lower, I wonder if that means that my Zapdos is always going to outspeed. Because I know Ditto copies the stats of the Pokemon, but I think it copies the stats of the Pokemon at the level that it is currently at, you know? So, the Discharge did do a lot. I'm going to go for my own Discharge right now. We don't have to fear being paralyzed. And they go for Hidden Power, not knowing that it's a Fighting-type move on my Zapdos. Although, that's interesting. I didn't know that. The Hidden Power actually is based off of the Ditto's own stats. And there we saw the Ditto did outspeed us. So, the speed stat is basically copied at the exact level that my Zapdos has it at. Now, I think I'd better go for a Roost attack right now. So if they go Discharge, we will be resistant to it because we just ended our Flying type side for the turn. And Discharge, there we go, Resist. Hardly anything. So now we're going to go for our own Discharge. At this rate, it should take out the enemy Ditto. Now I can swap out, of course. They're not going to, and I think we're going to get the KO here. Yep, down goes Ditto. Alright, so 2 Pokemon left, both of them weak to the electric attacks. I don't think I need to go for the Substitute at this point. Now, the Moltres might be an issue. I'm gonna swap into Blaze right now, just because I want Zapdos there for the Gyarados. In fact, no, the best swap in right now, I'm gonna go with Sheldon. because if I do need to bring in Blaze, I want a nice clean switch into him. So I'm going to let Sheldon do some work right now. I'm going to go for another Air Slash or Heat Wave perhaps, Flamethrower. You can do that as well if you like. Yeah, no problem whatsoever. We don't get burned either, which is good. Now, of course, they can switch out. Gyarados is the only thing left. We could burn it with Scald. So we're going to go for that attack. Either getting some super effective damage off on Moltres, or, as is about to happen, possibly pick up a burn on this Gyarados. You can intimidate me all you like. We're not using physical attacks because we're probably not even going to try that Avalanche attack. Come on, can we get the burn? It's like a 1 in 3 chance. We burn the Gyarados. Excellent stuff. So at this point, it's only a matter of just keeping attacking with... You know what? I'm actually going to bring Sheldon out. I'm going to bring in Gary, that's my Gyarados. I'm going to bring in Machamp. And we can start going for some low sweeps. It is resisted, but we can slow this thing down. What you going to go for? And I love how I'm showing off all the contest ribbons. Alright, Earthquake. That will hurt, but you are burned. So that's not too big of a problem. So now begins the low sweeping attack. There's nothing else we can really do. We can Ice Punch it, but I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. Getting some speed priority is definitely going to be the best way to go. It's a special attack. Here we go. Now you burn me, which is going to activate my Guts. And I think we'll survive 1 turn of burn damage. And it looks like another low sweep would get the KO, but I'm just going to go straight up Ice Punch attack. In fact, 1 more turn of burn would actually bring it down too, so I don't know if we outspeed after 1 low sweep, but we're going to try the Ice Punch. Let's see what happens. We actually outspeed after 1 low sweep. So a nice Ice Punch brings down Gyarados. The only thing left on the opposing side is that Moltres, and we do lose Machamp here. I think the safest bet, I'm going to send Zapdos right in right now. Go for the discharges. There we go. Legendary Bird versus Legendary Bird. This is the showdown. Here comes Moltres. And here comes Zapdos. So, as I say, nothing more to do except go for the discharges. I'm fairly certain Zapdos outspeeds Moltres. Alright, we got 3 discharges left because, of course, the pressure is going to up the PP usage. Not that it matters much because it's a single critical discharge that brings down the other Legendary Bird, and we win our first match of the Kanto Classic. Good game to my opponent. This was fun.